In the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Sumerian creation myth tells us originally there was only Namu, the primeval sea. Then Namu gave birth to An, the sky, and Ki, the earth. An and Ki mated, and Ki gave birth to Enlil, the god of wind, rain, and storm. Enlil created dry land by separating An from Ki and made it his domain, while An carried off the sky. In the Jewish tradition, there is only one God who does all these things. He then creates the Garden of Eden and Adam, who lived 930 years, and his helper Eve, who give us original sin by eating from the forbidden tree of knowledge at the urging of a talking snake. God banishes them from the garden and punishes them with lives of pain and toil, and all of their descendants, which includes all of humanity since the beginning of time, are also punished. The talking snake is apparently a manifestation of a fallen angel called Lucifer, who fought a war for heaven, lost, and was kicked out, known henceforth as Satan or the devil. Then a 500-year-old Noah, at the direction of God, gets 2 of every living thing on earth on a boat to survive a global flood sent by God to destroy the evil which he had banished to earth previously. After several more generations, each spanning hundreds of years, God reveals himself to Abraham, ancestor of the Jewish people, who is 100 at the time but lives to 175. He is told he will have a son, and his seed will be as many as the stars, are the chosen people, and they will inherit the land of Israel, which they will have to take by force. God commands Abraham to prepare an animal sacrifice to make a covenant, the central condition out of many being snipping the foreskin from the human penis. Many more prophets would follow. Moses leads the Israelites out of Egypt during the Exodus. God recites the Torah to Moses on Mount Sinai, which may or may not have included the account of his death, which he may or may not have written down while crying. There they enter into another covenant and again become the people of Yahweh, who promises to protect them for all time if they obey his laws and worship only him. They are also told, among other things, murder is wrong. Yahweh then instructs Moses to destroy the Midianites, descended from Midian, the son of Abraham. 1,000 men from each of the 12 tribes, also descendants of Abraham, kill every Midianite man and bring back the women and children as prisoners. Moses condemns the non-virgin women as the source of Yahweh's anger and orders them and all of the male children to be executed. 32,000 virgin girls, as well as all the livestock, are kept as plunder. They also massacred everyone in 2 other kingdoms and settled opposite the Promised Land on the eastern side of the Jordan River. Moses climbs Mount Nebo, where he dies at the age of 120, overlooking the Promised Land below. The total journey out of Egypt, approximately 187 hours of walking, took 40 years. The Exodus story has been a central part of the Jewish tradition since the Torah was compiled, most likely in the 6th or 7th century BCE, and not by Moses. About 15 million practice worldwide today. Elijah is an interesting prophet. He is capable of outpacing a horse for very long distances. He can resurrect dead boys by spooning with them. Also, his sacrificial altars to Yahweh are 100% more effective than those to Baal of Jezebel and the false prophets. He proved this on Mount Carmel to King Ahab when his altar magically erupted in flames even after a bunch of water had been poured over it in the midst of a terrible drought. This amazed the people, who then captured 450 false prophets and executed them by sword at Elijah's direction. Luckily, once the people declared Yahweh as Lord, the drought ended after Elijah prayed for it. Elijah never actually dies. He ascends to heaven alive in a fire tornado or flying chariot or by angels. The book of Malachi promises Elijah will return prior to the last judgment. Jesus, a Middle Eastern Jew, says in Matthew 5:17, "Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them." Although the word Christ in Greek is Christos, which means the anointed one, which comes from the Hebrew Messiah, which also means anointed, Jesus was the opposite of what the Jewish Messiah was supposed to be. They expected a great conqueror, such as Cyrus the Great, who would destroy God's enemies and establish a sovereign land of Israel. So Jesus is not accepted as the Jewish Messiah. It was Saul who converted to Christianity and was henceforth known as Paul, a Roman citizen with rights who could travel freely, that pushed for letting anyone become a Christian and helped spread the new religion throughout the Roman Empire. It is number 1 today with about 2 billion followers. John the Baptist, who baptized Jesus, got his own religion called Mandaism. It incorporates Zoroastrian, Jewish, and Christianity and has 100,000 followers. They accept Adam and Noah, but Abraham, Moses, and Muhammad are considered false prophets. Jesus is strongly rejected because he perverted John's teachings. Christians claim John the Baptist was the reincarnation of Elijah, who will also come again, metaphorically as well as spiritually, again prior to the Last Judgment. Islam, the second largest religion in the world, is based on the revelations of the Prophet Muhammad of 7th century Saudi Arabia. The Arabic word Islam means submission, as followers are to submit to the will of Allah, which means God. According to tradition, the angel Gabriel recites the literal word of God to the prophet who could not read or write. This became the Quran, written in Arabic after Muhammad's death. Muslims recognize earlier prophets like Adam, Noah, Abraham, Moses, Zoroaster the Baptizer, and Jesus as people of the book, but Muhammad is the last prophet, and only he is pure and uncorrupted, as is his love for cats. This message was spread rapidly by conquest. Something similar was tried by the prophet Mani in the 2nd century. He claimed to be the second coming of Zoroaster, Jesus, and even Buddha, as well as being the last prophet. Manichaeism, once widespread, is now an extinct religion. Needless to say, his message has fallen on deaf ears, and he would not be the last prophet.